To introduce again Tamara Shioemaker, who's been on the show monthly, and she's the founder of Michigan Cyber Patriots, which is a program for grade school kids to not only become tech savvy, or at least cyber tech savvy, but also maybe introduce into the concept of becoming cyber tech pros when they become adults, go to college, or whatever it is they plan to do. Did I get that right, Tamara?
Absolutely. And it's sort of the other unintended consequence, but it's a really good one, is that even if they decide not to go into cyber, they will not be that employee that will click on a link because they will have learned this so much earlier in their career, right?
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now. I'm trying to get to my notes here. It's one of those days where I'm new technology, and so I'm
Well,
so.
first of all, why don't you tell folks what Cyber Patriot is, what it is, what it does, who's behind it, that kind of thing.
Sure. So the Air Force Association is behind this. They started this 16 years ago with 8 teams in the state of Florida playing head to head against each other in a virtual competition for high school kids. It has branched out now, and it is over 6,000 teams play nationally, and they still are doing it virtually until finals. So it's a very nice, easy after school program to drop down into the middle schools and the high schools, and that's why I get behind it, because we really, as you all know, we really need more people in the cybersecurity business. I was at a conference this week, and I went to CyberSeek and got what today's numbers are, and it's 14,000 open jobs in the state of Michigan for cybersecurity professionals.
Wow.
So in the state of Michigan, right, and it was 450,000 nationally. So we need to get to these kids, and we need to have them help us and come get into the workforce, right? And it takes so long for them to work through it that this after-school program really gives them a jump ahead, right? It gets them started in middle school and high school, start thinking about this career, start putting together that educational pathway that'll help it be seamless, so that when they get over there to LTU and all the other centers of excellence in the state, we won't have to start in the remedial stuff. We'll be able to start, midway through and then push them forward a lot quicker, right?
Sure.
And last week we had on the show this chief security officer for the state of Michigan. And was talking about the Michigan Cyber Summit, which I attended. I guess it'd be 2 weeks now ago.
Yep.
And one of the programs he touched on briefly was the one you were involved in on Thursday of 2 weeks ago, I guess. I can't remember what the exact date was. I guess that would have been the 12th.
The day off, the 9th. So it was the 18th and the 19th. The
The 19th. That's right. Looking at the calendar, Ron.
Yeah,
Right.
and the 19th.
So you were on the 19th, and he said you had something in the neighborhood of 400 kids there.
We had more than that.
Very successful, right?
Yeah, so they expected about 400. They got between 700 and 1,000 students that day. And so that was pretty impressive. That was a lot of high school kids all in one place. And it was a really good, really well done by the state. And I know the CISO is the one who was behind that, Laura Clark. And so sort of, the driving force for that. Her and I had a nice discussion that day, but it's a really cool event because it was an entire conference specifically for them, right? So the speakers were for them, the exhibitors were for the students to get them inspired about careers in cybersecurity. And so it was a really wonderful, it was the first time that we've ever done it that way. Normally all they have for the high school kids is a one-day competition. This time they had an entire conference. So that was really cool, right? It was wonderful to have in the state of Michigan have that happen.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about what the program was for the high schoolers. What, who were the speakers? What did they hear about?
So I think the thing that was cool about it was our state CISO is like the poster child for this kind of a program, for my program even, because she started out as an intern at the state of Michigan, wasn't at all studying cyber at all. She was, and so she told her story. So she had her story and a panel of other folks that had similar stories where they sort of, convolutedly got to cyber, but that they just to sort of show the depth and breadth of the differences that our personalities and differences of the things that interest us and that that make us up are all things that we need in cyber for this fight, right? We need all these different people with all these different views, with all these different backgrounds involved in cybersecurity so that we can be secure, right? So that we have it covered and not just same, and then we, are doing the same mistakes, right? So that was really important that we covered that, showed them a lot of different pathways, a lot of different viewpoints about what cyber was. So that was really, really good. Our cybersecurity, the competitions were covered, all the kind of things that they need to know about, how to plan their pathway. It was a really good event.
Cool.
And then I followed it up with one last week that was even more exciting. So last week I was in Kalamazoo for 2 days for the what was it called? Here we got to make sure I get it right. The Michigan Career Quest Southwest. So it was in Kalamazoo, and I expected that I was going to see about 2,000 kids that day because the write-up for that was what it was. 2,000 kids, 8th graders, I mind you. And now we're talking 8th graders. We're talking a little bit more hormonally driven. It was very loud and very exciting.
Middle school teachers deserve combat pay. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. Wild is crazy. The first guys that came off the bus in the morning, oh my goodness, those first couple classes must be real fun for those teachers. They calmed down and they started to pay attention to the different career. They had a manufacturing, they had medical, they had skilled trades, and then they had tech. And so we were in the tech building, and I was partnered up with Stryker. And we had an amazing booth full of cool things for them to do. They were able to play with puzzles. They were able to get, propagandized by me and me giving out my magazine that has all kinds of research and resources in there for them to plan their career. Totally agnostic as far as what school to go to, but all the information nationally that they could use. And then they had the Cyber Patriot game, both the competition and the kid game. The kids games that you can download for free that they have for the K through 5, so that they could actually start playing, right? And they can actually do it. And we had some high school kids come from Gull Lake, some kids that actually play in Cyber Patriot, and they were able to help, explain to the kids, right, peer to peer, right, how cool this was and how exciting a career in this area could be. So it was a wonderful thing. And it was 4,700 8th graders.
Wow. 4,700? Oh my God.
In 2 days.
Yeah.
It was just like every 15 minutes they brought in, they filled the gymnasium with kids. It was a riot. And then I said this speech over and over again. It takes 2 to 4 players or 2 to 5 players to play. It takes 2 computers, and it's right. You just say it over and over and over again.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
So who sponsored that? Who put that on?
At the state of Michigan. That's a normal thing. They do it in the different areas, and I'm hoping to do it now next year. Hopefully I'll be able to do all of the rounds as far as the different areas that they have it. That was the Southwest one.
Yeah, I would imagine they do one for the Detroit area and one for the Capital Region and Northwest and UP and all that stuff, right? So there's probably a whole bunch of these things.
And again, the hands down to those folks that did that, right? So the Kalamazoo Tech Center is the one who hosted it. The our Michigan National Guard fed us. And also had a huge exhibit so that the kids could see that pathway, right? So if they can't afford a college, they can go become a Michigan National Guard, which will help pay for their education. So it showed all the different pathways for all the different kids. So it was a really amazing event. And again, I'm excited that the state does that kind of a thing on a regular basis.
It's kind of like I was on a press tour of Israel back in 2017, and we talked about how everybody in Israel, male and female, have to serve in the military.
Yep.
And they take the best and the brightest of them and served in Section 8200, which is their cyber war. I mean, literally cyber war, because they're always being attacked by somebody on the cyber side.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, the point I'm making, going into the National Guard, that American students could have a similar experience because they're doing the same thing.
Yes.
Here in the United States, just the same as they do in Israel. So
I think we're really fortunate here in Michigan too, because sort of the Midwest, we happen to have the National Guard's Cyber Center is in Battle Creek, our Battle Creek National Guard base. So we actually have cyber experts. So when I do camps there, they bring us into their secret little cyber command, and they show the kids and they talk to the kids about, and what they've said to them before, it makes me crack up, is they say, do you know how long it takes for us to train a pilot? Well, it takes us X amount of months to train a pilot to be a pilot. Do you know how long it takes us to train our cyber people? Years.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so it was like, plus when the pilots go and they go to work in private service, they make X, and the cybersecurity people make Y, which is a lot more.
A lot more why too,
Right.
I'll
And
tell
so,
you. Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's always a really good visit there to get them that sort of, brass tacks about what it's really like, what it's really like out there in the world. So yeah, it's a very good opportunity. And that kind of leads me into some of the things that I need to talk about as far as like what we need right here in the state of Michigan. So I'm working myself to death. No, I'm loving every minute. Right. It's just, but I want to retire someday, guys.
yeah, I hear you.
So I am looking for more mentors, right? So we have, we've been having regular coaches meetings, and the coaches definitely can use some more mentors. So that's folks from industry that can take their expertise. You don't have to be a cybersecurity expert, but if you're IT savvy, right? You like I can go on Google and look something up, like what's buffer overflow and right. So I mean, it's how all of us operate, right? When the boss asks us a question and we don't know what we're talking about or how to do it, we go on and we Google it, right? Of course, now we have AI to be doing all kinds of different searches and get into all kinds of trouble. But you don't have to be an expert, is my point, right? You don't have to be an expert, but you just have to have a willing heart to want to be able to volunteer and serve your community and help these kids get an idea of what the career path looks like. So that it feels real to them, right? And so that you're also, so that the teacher feels supported, so that the two of you can work together. So you can work with the teacher and you guys can sort of plan the lessons and you can help these kids move along. I really want to have a team go to nationals from Michigan. And so the coaches, we're having regular meetings. We're getting together. They're going to share their secrets. They're going to work together as a team in order to try to get someone to nationals. So I'm pretty excited about the way that the coaches are putting in some extra effort this year. And so I'm hoping that folks out in the industry will also volunteer. All you have to do is just email me at Tamara Shioemaker, Gmail, or you can go to our cyberpatriot.com website. And get a hold of me, and then I'll kind of walk you through the process. It's very, very easy. You just register. They'll give you a login and password. You go on and you can see all of the resources that are available to help the team, get where they need to get to nationals. And then the other thing that we need support. So my most recent donation from the the Cloud Security Alliance. I've already gone through it. I've already paid all these events that I have to go to, right? So the state event cost money, materials cost money, the magazines that I give out. I actually completely used up all of the magazines that the printer actually had that does those books for me. So we're going into edition 4. In order for me to buy any edition 4s, I'm going to need some money in the bank. So in order for us to continue, we really need that. And we're going into now a time when we're going to start planning our summer camps, when we're going to start planning our state championship, where we give out trophies, all that kind of good stuff. So you could really make a big difference by donating.